So Neymar has admitted that part of the reason why he wanted to leave PSG a few years ago was because he was simply missing Barcelona. The Brazilian's revelations aren't that surprising, given the fact that he did give off the vibe of a player who wasn't happy in France. However, things have changed since then. We can now reveal the details of Dusan Vlahovic's transfer to Juventus from Fiorentina, and we have to say that the Bianconeri have gone above and beyond to sign a striker who's likely to help them push for top honours in the coming years. As they prepare for life without Bruno Guimaraes, Olympique Lyon are trying to bring in a capable replacement, and they've already gotten themselves a two-man shortlist. While there isn't much time left in the transfer market, Newcastle United are still looking to add a few more players who should, in theory, help them avoid the drop. Borussia Mönchengladbach are trying really hard to sell Marcus Thuram, who has zero goal involvement so far this season. So then, let's get down to the nitty-gritty, eh? Hit that bell, the other button, and get ready to be whammed by all the important football information that you need right now. During the 2019-20 season, when Borussia Mönchengladbach had signed Marcus Thuram for €9 million, the German club was rubbing its hands in glee. In his first year in Germany, the former Guingamp man stood out by scoring 10 goals and delivering 8 assists in 32 Bundesliga matches. The following season was also good in terms of stats, with the Frenchman scoring 11 goals and notching 12 assists in 40 matches in all competitions. Even if the sad case of spitting on an opponent in December 2020 during a match against Hoffenheim had somewhat tainted what was a good season for him. The following summer, he thought he was set for a big move when Inter and especially Tottenham came knocking on the door. That didn't happen. Since then, Thuram's performances for Gladbach have crumbled, and not just a little bit. This season, the Frenchman's record is terrible. 14 matches, 0 goals, 0 assists in all competitions. And according to Bild, his club is eager to make him leave by next Monday. And in its latest edition, the portrait of the day drawn up by the German Daily is not very flattering either. Mercenary attitude, no effort at the loss of possession, egocentric, Marcus Thuram is definitely not the man. Under contract until 2023, the son of a 1998 World Cup winner has therefore become persona non grata, especially since Gladbach have already targeted a replacement in the event of the departure of the player. The first will be the young Denis Undav of Union Saint-Gilloise, who has 34 goals in 2 seasons in Belgium. 18th in the Premier League, Newcastle intend to save their skin, and the new owners intend to invest heavily in order to strengthen the workforce under Eddie Howe, who's already welcomed Kieran Trippier from Atletico Madrid and Chris Wood from Burnley since the opening of the transfer window. As we know, Bruno Guimaraes is very close to joining them from Olympique Lyonnais against the Czech for €42.5 million plus bonuses. The Brazilian has already had his medical, but his arrival might not be the last. According to reports, the Magpies are also trying to wrap up deals for Arsenal's Eddie Nketiah and Dan Burn of Brighton. The young forward has decided not to extend his contract with the Gunners, while the Brighton man is just waiting for both clubs to agree on a fee. Apart from that, Newcastle have also not given up on hopes of signing Jesse Lingard. Manchester United want at least €20 million for a player they barely use, so let's see who blinks first here. If there's one thing we're sure of, it's that AS Monaco don't regret having spent about €20 million in January 2020 to sign a player who at the time was not seen as a young player with loads of potential at Bordeaux. But today, Aurélien Tchouaméni, now 22, is one of the most promising players on the planet. Last season, he acquired an indisputable starter status with 36 starts in as many appearances in Ligue 1. This year, the same observation, except that the player has now become a French international. Summoned by Didier Deschamps during the last League of Nations games, Tchouaméni now has 7 caps for Les Bleus, and his performances alongside Paul Pogba haven't gone unnoticed. Unsurprisingly, his express rise caused a massive stir in Europe. Last year, Real Madrid came to the fore, and to allow the player to leave, who's under contract until 2024, Monaco then demanded at least €60 million. Los Blancos have now returned to the charge in 2022. Late last week, Marca revealed that the Real Madrid sporting director, Uni Calafat, moved to the Principality in order to study the case more closely. It's not yet known if he's invited Florentino Perez to take action for the next summer transfer window, but what's certain is that he had to announce to his president that the price had increased. Marca claimed today that Monaco are now demanding between 80 and 100 million euros for their gem, a substantial amount to recruit a player who's expected to succeed Casemiro. Madrid will therefore have to think, and quickly too, because Chelsea and United are also in the running. As they prepare to sell Bruno Guimaraes to Newcastle, Lyon are working on many avenues to replace the Brazilian. Those efforts are leading to Giovanni Lo Celso, and Rodrigo Bentancur have reportedly been in the news recently. It's activated in all directions for Olympique Lyonnais. While almost nothing happened for them during the month of January except for the termination of Marcelo's contract, who left for Bordeaux, Newcastle decided to turn everything upside down by pulling out all the stops and paid 50 million euros including bonuses to snatch Bruno from the clutches of Jean-Michel Aulas and Vincent Pozo. Dutch coach Peter Bosz always knew that his Brazilian midfielder was highly scouted, but maybe he didn't expect to lose him anytime soon. Lyon, lagging behind in Ligue 1 despite their European ambitions, will inevitably have to make up for this departure, especially since the player was one of the essential elements of the Lyon system. With this in mind, L'Équipe claims that Lyon leaders have contacted their Tottenham counterparts to study the feasibility of a loan move for Giovanni Lo Celso until the end of the 2021-22 campaign. The Argentinian international is definitely not part of Antonio Conte's first team plans at Spurs, and has only started 7 games in 19 appearances since the start of the season. However, the English club would hope that Lyon will take over his entire salary, which is about 400,000 euros a month. Another track being studied in recent hours is that of Rodrigo Bentancur. The Uruguayan international is a talented player, but isn't getting enough time at Juventus. However, unlike Tottenham, with their player, the Vecchia Signora would not be interested in the idea of loaning a player who does feature more regularly in all competitions. Knowing that their preferred players might not be available, Lyon have drawn up another supplementary list. That includes Oriol Mangala, Ander Herrera, and Elis Skiri of Cologne. This is one of the biggest pieces of news of the winter transfer window. Dusan Vlahovic left Fiorentina to sign for Juventus. The transfer of the Serbian striker was announced a few days ago and was confirmed by a press release from Juventus in which the details of this huge operation were specified. We learn, for example, that this transfer will cost the old lady at least 81.6 million euros, and not counting the bonuses that can amount to another 10 million euros. Juventus announces that it has reached an agreement with Fiorentina for the definitive acquisition of the sporting rights of the player Dusan Vlahovic for the sum of 70 million euros, payable over 3 years, plus the solidarity contribution provided for by FIFA regulations and incidental expenses for a total of 11.6 million euros. In addition, bonuses of up to a maximum of 10 million euros are considered depending on the achievement of objectives. Oh, and before we move on to the next one, Vlahovic rejected Arsenal to join the Italian giants. Back in 2019, Neymar had had enough of Paris Saint-Germain. It was only surprising to hear this out because, at the time, he'd only been in France for 2 years and actually left Barcelona because he no longer wanted to play under Messi's shadow. Life can be funny, because the same player he wanted to avoid is now his teammate, but then again, a lot's changed since then. For instance, Messi's no longer the goal-scoring machine that he once was. Neymar has actually become a more mature player, but is not exactly a shoo-in for a Ballon d'Or award. However, 4 years ago, the Brazilian was desperate to leave PSG and actually thought he'd made a big mistake by leaving Camp Nou. It made sense because during his time in Spain, Neymar was part of the fearsome attacking trio that included Messi and Luis Suarez. And in the latest documentary named The Perfect Chaos, there are multiple episodes of the time when he wanted to leave for Barcelona. In one of the clips, Neymar explained why he felt like leaving. "When I made the decision to leave PSG, it wasn't because of a fan or club. It's because I saw that I felt better elsewhere. I never had anything against the PSG fans, nor against the club itself. It was never that. Contrary, I'm very grateful. Even though I didn't want to continue, I had to train and be prepared." Throughout the summer of 2019, Barcelona worked on making the move possible, but eventually nothing happened, and the player signed a new deal with the Ligue 1 giants. And we can assure you that there are no chances of Neymar returning to the club as a player anytime soon.